Justice announced it would be ending its investigation into the death of Emmett Till.
12 News' Anthony Howard spoke with experts who have spent decades fighting for justice in this case.
It's been over 60 years since the kidnapping and murder of Emmett Till, and no one has been held accountable. The people who have worked tirelessly to bring justice to the Till family say they are disappointed, but not surprised. In 1955, Chicago teen Emmett Till was taken from his home, beaten, and killed after allegedly whistling at Carolyn Bryant. The two men responsible, Roy Bryant and J.W. Millam, were tried and acquitted by an all-white jury. This sparked civil outrage and fueled the civil rights movement. In the early 2000s, a novice filmmaker presented new evidence causing the FBI to reopen the case.
It's amazing that I was the one who brought the evidence forward to get the case reopened in 2004. And now we're sitting right now talking about a decision that was made. It would be quite helpful, and it would give some closing to this chapter of Emmett Till, or the Emmett Till case, if Carolyn Bryant comes forward and tell us what she knows.
Beauchamp worked closely with Till's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, in her fight for justice in the death of her son.
And it was our way to use filmmaking as an activism tool to make sure that justice prevails in this case.
I hate to say it was not surprising. I reported about a year ago, I was reporting that basically the Justice Department had basically closed this case.
Jerry Mitchell has spent decades writing investigative stories on cold cases from the civil rights era.
I will give the FBI tremendous credit for their investigation of the Emmett Till case. They did a tremendous job of piecing together what information was available.
Due to the age of the case, it's beyond the statute of limitations on a federal level, but not the state.
They kind of made a run at that in 2007 and were unsuccessful. So unless the state, changed its mind, decides to pursue those, additional charges, and I think that's probably it. And unfortunately, with this case.
And after the acquittal, which happened in September '55, it took our community over 50 years to come to the place where we would begin to talk about race and racism and what racial reconciliation could look like.
Benjamin Salisbury works for the Emmett Till Interpretive Center in Sumner, Mississippi, where the Till case was tried.
To have this case reopened and then still it being concluded without a person being able to be brought to justice or anything of the sort is, again, it kind of goes back to the fact that that justice has evaded this family and our communities.
Even with the disappointing decision to close the case, the Till proponents acknowledged the victory surrounding the death of Emmett Till.
In recent decades, an act was named after him that was all about the pursuit of these civil rights cold cases that had never been punished.
And this was the catalyst that sparked the American Civil Rights Movement. And he is why we have free liberties in this country.
All the advocates for Emmett Till's justice are hopeful the family receives closure, and for Carolyn Bryant Dunham to break her silence after all these years. The decision to continue this case is now in the hands of the county DA's office or the state attorney general. You can see more of this story Sunday morning on Mississippi Insight at 10:30, only on 12 News. Byron?